When extending both a 277/480 volts 3-phase 4-wire 200 amp service and a 120/240 volts single-phase 200 amp service to the same building, several key considerations and code references should be addressed to ensure safety and compliance. Firstly, consider installing two separate service entrances. This means physically and electrically isolating the 277/480 volt service and the 120/240 volt service. Separate service entrances minimize potential interference and provide a clear demarcation between the two systems. This approach enhances safety and simplifies maintenance and troubleshooting procedures. Secondly, proper grounding is crucial for both services. Follow the National Electrical Code, or NEC, requirements meticulously. Ground the equipment and raceways for both the 277/480 volt system and the 120/240 volt system separately. The grounding system must be robust and effective to provide a low impedance path for fault currents, thereby protecting personnel and equipment. Proper grounding also helps to minimize electrical noise and ensure the reliable operation of sensitive electronic equipment. Coordinate the standby generator with the 480 volts service if there is one. Verify that the generator is adequately sized and wired to support the water treatment equipment load. Ensure that the transfer switch is appropriately rated and installed to prevent backfeed to the utility grid during generator operation. The generator system must be tested regularly to ensure its proper functioning during power outages. Labeling and identification are vital for all circuits, panels, and equipment associated with each service. Use clear, durable labels that indicate the voltage, amperage, and function of each circuit. Proper labeling facilitates maintenance, troubleshooting, and future modifications to the electrical system. It also helps prevent accidental contact with energized parts during maintenance activities. Consider future expansion when planning the installation of these services. Anticipate potential increases in electrical demand and the addition of new equipment. Utilize spare capacity in the service panels and consider installing additional conduits or raceways to accommodate future wiring needs. Planning for future expansion minimizes disruptions and costs associated with upgrading the electrical system later on. Now, let's delve into some specific code references from the NEC that are relevant to this installation. NEC Section 230.1 covers the general requirements for service entrances. This section outlines the basic rules and regulations governing the installation of service conductors, service equipment, and service disconnecting means. It provides guidance on the location, accessibility, and protection of service entrances. NEC Section 230.40 addresses the size and rating of service conductors. This section specifies the minimum ampacity requirements for service conductors based on the calculated load. It also provides guidelines for selecting the appropriate conductor size to ensure adequate capacity and minimize voltage drop. NEC Section 230.46 pertains to the number of services allowed to a building. While it generally permits only one service, there are exceptions for specific situations, such as when serving different occupancies or when the capacity requirements exceed the available service size. Understanding these exceptions is crucial for determining the appropriate number of services for the building. NEC Section 250 provides comprehensive requirements for grounding and bonding. This section covers the proper methods for grounding electrical systems, equipment, and enclosures. It also addresses the bonding of metallic parts to ensure a lower impedance path for fault currents. Compliance with NEC Section 250 is essential for safety and protection against electrical shock hazards. NEC Section 445 specifically addresses generators. This section provides requirements for the installation, wiring, and protection of generators used for standby or emergency power systems. It covers topics such as generator sizing, overcurrent protection, and transfer switch requirements. NEC Section 700 pertains to emergency systems, which may be applicable if the generator is considered an emergency system. This section outlines the requirements for the design, installation, and testing of emergency electrical systems, including generators, transfer switches, and emergency lighting. It ensures that emergency systems are reliable and capable of providing power during power outages. Proper planning, installation, and adherence to code requirements are essential for safely and effectively extending both the 277/480 volts and 120/240 volts electrical services to the building. Installing separate service entrances provides a clear separation between the two systems, which minimizes interference and enhances safety. Grounding both services according to NEC requirements is crucial for protecting personnel and equipment against electrical shock hazards. Coordinating the standby generator with the 480-volt service ensures that the water treatment equipment has a reliable source of power during outages. Labeling and identifying all circuits, panels, and equipment facilitates maintenance and troubleshooting. Planning for future expansion minimizes disruptions and costs associated with upgrading the electrical system later on. Compliance with NEC sections 230.1, 230.40, 230.46, 250, 445, and 700 ensures that the electrical installation meets the safety and performance standards. Firstly, the installation must comply with NEC section 230.1, which outlines general requirements for service entrances, ensuring the safe and proper connection of the electrical service to the building. Secondly, NEC section 230.40 should be followed to ensure that the service conductors are adequately sized to handle the load, preventing overheating and potential fire hazards. Thirdly, NEC section 230.46 addresses the number of services allowed, which is important for determining if separate services are necessary and permissible. Fourthly, NEC section 250 provides comprehensive requirements for grounding and bonding, which are critical for protecting against electrical shock and ensuring a safe electrical system. Fifthly, NEC section 445 covers generators, ensuring that the standby generator is properly installed and connected to the 480-volt service for reliable backup power. And finally, if the generator is considered an emergency system, NEC section 700 must be followed to meet the specific requirements for emergency power systems, ensuring their reliability during power outages. Let's dive a little deeper into each of these sections. Considering NEC section 230.1, it is about general requirements for service entrances. This section is the cornerstone for any electrical service installation. It dictates the fundamental rules for how electrical power is brought from the utility company to the building's electrical system. It covers various aspects such as the location of the service entrance, the type of wiring methods allowed, and the protection of the service conductors. One key aspect of this section is the requirement for a readily accessible disconnecting means. This allows for quick and easy isolation of the entire electrical system in case of emergencies or for maintenance purposes. The disconnecting means must be located at a readily accessible location, either inside or outside the building, and it must be clearly labeled to indicate its purpose. Another important aspect is the protection of service conductors from physical damage. The NEC specifies various methods for protecting service conductors, such as encasing them in rigid metal conduit or using underground burial techniques. These measures help to prevent damage to the conductors from external factors, such as weather, impact, or abrasion. NEC section 230.40 discusses size of service conductors. This section is crucial for ensuring that the service conductors are adequately sized to carry the expected electrical load. Undersized conductors can overheat, leading to insulation breakdown, voltage drop, and even fire hazards. The NEC provides detailed tables and calculations for determining the minimum ampacity requirements for service conductors based on the calculated load. The calculated load takes into account the connected loads, demand factors, and other relevant factors. The ampacity of the service conductors must be equal to or greater than the calculated load. In addition to ampacity, the NEC also considers voltage drop when sizing service conductors. Voltage drop occurs when the voltage at the load is less than the voltage at the source due to the resistance of the conductors. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction or operate inefficiently. The NEC recommends limiting voltage drop to a maximum of 3% for power circuits and 5% for lighting circuits. NEC Section 230.46 addresses number of services. This section deals with the number of service entrances allowed for a building. The general rule is that a building should only have one service entrance. However, there are exceptions to this rule, such as when serving different occupancies or when the capacity requirements exceed the available service size. When a building has multiple occupancies, each occupancy may have its own service entrance provided that the electrical systems are kept separate and independent. This is often the case in commercial buildings with multiple tenants. Another exception is when the capacity requirements exceed the available service size. In such cases, multiple service entrances may be necessary to provide the required power. However, the NEC requires that the multiple service entrances be coordinated and controlled to prevent overloading the utility grid. NEC Section 250 details grounding and bonding. This section is perhaps the most critical for ensuring electrical safety. Grounding and bonding are essential for protecting against electrical shock and preventing equipment damage. Grounding provides a low impedance path for fault currents to flow back to the source, allowing overcurrent protective devices to trip and de-energize the circuit. Bonding ensures that all metallic parts of the electrical system are electrically connected, preventing voltage differences that can cause electric shock. The NEC specifies various grounding and bonding requirements, including the use of grounding electrodes, grounding conductors, and bonding jumpers. Grounding electrodes are typically metal rods, pipes, or plates that are buried in the earth to provide a connection to ground. Grounding conductors are used to connect equipment and enclosures to the grounding electrode. Bonding jumpers are used to connect metallic parts of the electrical system together. NEC Section 445 handles generators. This section provides requirements for the installation, wiring, and protection of generators used for standby or emergency power systems. Generators are commonly used to provide backup power during power outages. The NEC specifies various requirements for generator installations, including the location of the generator, the type of fuel used, and the ventilation requirements. The NEC also requires that generators be equipped with overcurrent protection devices to protect against overload and short-circuit conditions. In addition, the NEC specifies requirements for transfer switches, which are used to switch between the utility power and the generator power. Transfer switches must be properly rated and installed to prevent backfeed to the utility grid. NEC Section 700 discusses emergency systems. This section covers the requirements for emergency electrical systems, which are designed to provide power during power outages to essential loads such as emergency lighting, fire pumps, and life safety equipment. Emergency systems must be reliable and capable of providing power within a specified time frame after a power outage. The NEC specifies various requirements for emergency systems, including the type of power source, the wiring methods, and the overcurrent protection devices. Emergency systems must also be tested regularly to ensure their proper functioning. Extending electrical services to a building requires careful planning and adherence to the NEC. By following the guidelines outlined in these NEC sections, you can ensure a safe and reliable electrical system. Remember to consult with a qualified electrical contractor or engineer to ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and regulations. The separation of services not only provides isolation, but also allows for easier maintenance and troubleshooting. If one service experiences a fault, it won't necessarily impact the other service, ensuring that essential loads continue to operate. The grounding system is a critical safety component. It provides a path for fault currents to return to the source, allowing overcurrent protection devices like circuit breakers to trip and clear the fault. This prevents dangerous voltage buildup on equipment and reduces the risk of electric shock. When coordinating the standby generator with the 480-volt service, it's crucial to ensure that the generator is sized appropriately to handle the connected load. Overloading a generator can lead to voltage instability, overheating, and potential damage to the generator and connected equipment. Proper labeling and identification are essential for the safety of anyone working on the electrical system. Clear and concise labels help to prevent accidental contact with energized parts and ensure that the correct circuits are de-energized during maintenance or repairs. Planning for future expansion is a prudent investment. By installing spare capacity and additional conduits, you can avoid costly and disruptive upgrades in the future. This also allows for greater flexibility in accommodating changing electrical needs. NEC Section 230.1 provides a comprehensive overview of the requirements for service entrances. It covers everything from the location of the service equipment to the type of wiring methods allowed. NEC Section 230.40 focuses on the sizing of service conductors. It provides detailed calculations and tables to ensure that the conductors are adequately sized to carry the load. NEC Section 230.46 addresses the number of services allowed to a building. It clarifies the circumstances under which multiple services are permitted. NEC Section 250 is dedicated to grounding and bonding. It provides detailed requirements for establishing a safe and effective grounding system. NEC Section 445 covers the installation and operation of generators. It addresses issues such as generator sizing, wiring methods, and overcurrent protection. NEC Section 700 deals with emergency systems. It sets forth the requirements for emergency power systems that are designed to provide power during power outages. In summary, extending electrical services to a building requires a thorough understanding of the NEC and careful attention to detail. By following the guidelines outlined in this discussion, you can ensure a safe, reliable, and code-compliant electrical system.